For number 42, I'm going to continue with our time in Syracuse when I was still a student there. After about a year of living in the city, we moved out to the country in a little town of Lafayette, New York, and we met there a wonderful family who we are still great friends with, and their kids wanted to learn how to play guitar. So I gave one neighbor boy and another one of the family guitar lessons, and I chose a song that I thought was pretty simple and straightforward, not really thinking about the fact that it was about somebody murdering his girlfriend, so-called murder ballad, but it had been a very popular song in the so-called folk genre that was really quite popular in the popular vein, as it would be at that time. And so it was one entitled Tom Dooley. Now, I learned Tom Dooley as the version that the Kingston Trio did, who were a kind of a pop folk group. But I looked up the Tom Dooley in this book, which is a wonderful book. It's called Folk Songs of North America by Alan Lomax, and he was a ethnomusicologist, a very important person in that field, and if you're interested in any of those subjects, this is a great book to get. My sister gave this book to me in a little after 1960, so it's a very important book to me. But here's something that he wrote in his notes about Tom Dooley, D-U-L-A. The Statesville, North Carolina American, it was a newspaper, of May 1868 carried the following story. Thomas C. Dooley suffered the extreme penalty of the law by hanging near this place at 17 minutes past 2 o'clock p.m. on May the 1st, having been a second time convicted of the murder of Laura Foster of Wilkes County more than a year ago. Under the gallows, he made a long address to several thousand people who were present to witness his execution and avowed his preparations to appear in another world. On the night previous to the execution, he made confessions of his guilt, which we copy from his own hand. I declare that I am the only person that had a hand in the murder of Laura Foster, April 30th, 1868. Now, the backstory is that he had gone out with Laura Foster, but he had then found a new girlfriend named Ann Melton, and he discovered that Laura Foster, that he had acquired a disease from Laura Foster, which affected his relationship with Ann Melton. And so he and Ann Melton conspired to do away with Laura Foster, and he then, under the guise that he would marry her, took her to a place where they had dug a grave, and they did away with her, and Ann Melton was involved in this, but he never implicated her in any of the trials. So the song that I'm going to sing is by the tune of the same tune that the Kingston Trio used, but I know Dwight Diller did this tune with this song with a different tune, but I'm going to stick with the one that I'm familiar with, which is the Kingston Trio tune, but I am going to use, for the first verse and second verse, verses from Alan Lomax, as opposed to the one that Kingston Trio used, because I really like them, and because they, one of them, the first one, talks about the banjo, and the fact that apparently Tom Dooley played the banjo. So here it is, Tom Dooley. my knee. This time tomorrow night, it'll be no use to me. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Hang down your head and cry. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Poor boy, you're bound to die. Met her on the mountain. I swore she'd be my wife. I met her on the mountain and I stabbed her with my knife. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Hang down your head and cry. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Poor boy, you're bound to die. This time tomorrow, reckon where I'll be. Hadn't I been for Grayson, Lord, I'd been in Tennessee. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Hang down your head and cry. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Poor boy, you're bound to die. This time tomorrow, reckon where I'll be. Down in a lonesome valley, swinging from a white oak tree. Now hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Hang down your head and cry. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Poor boy, you're bound